Welcome to this complete setup guide for webcams. I'm going to show you how to use different devices as webcams, things like DSLR cameras, mobile phones, action cameras, and even cheap webcams. I've got different segments in this chapter setup where you can see how to set it up in different programs: Skype, OBS, StreamYards, Zoom, Discord, all those kind of things. So check the description and you'll see all of that information. I've compiled some of the new news in this chapter as well, but make sure to subscribe so you get future notifications when I make new videos, because there's always new things coming out about webcams and what you can use as webcams. Hoping you find this useful. I've probably linked you to this video from another one because I've had loads of questions about this, so I'm hoping you find this useful. See you on the next videos. Hello and welcome. So the new tool that the Canon guys have said only works in the US is on their website. That's what it says. And also that it only works with the listed cameras that they've suggested. That's not true. I'm going to show you how to make it. Well, I've got a Canon 550D, which is a T2i camera, and I just made a video saying it doesn't work with that camera, but it actually does work with that camera. What I've just done there is I've switched scenes. So actually, wait a minute, I'm using the camera right now. So I made this video here saying only newer cameras. That was based on this website telling me it's only this listed cameras. My camera wasn't listed. So what I did was I went to Canon EOS Rebel T6 and downloaded that tool, and it works on my T2i, because the video you're seeing right now there is that T2i camera, not the T6i. So I'm going to have to eat my words. I've already put the other video out saying it's only newer cameras, but I have to make another one now saying any Canon camera. Well, I'm thinking I tried this before this video, but because the EOS utility tool, the normal utility tool, opens up, the camera feed goes to that, which is why I wasn't able to get it on the webcam. So if your EOS utility tool pops up, close it and then go into your software like Skype or something and select your webcam. So if I open Skype, I can actually show you this quickly because it saves you going to another video and trying to find out what's going on. Yes, so Skype. Oh, so installing an update. Excellent timing, Skype. I've got an i7, so it should whiz through. Okay, let's give it a second. Come on, mate. So if I show you the screen for Skype, if you're using Skype, that is, you basically go to your settings and then you go to your screen that lets you pick your microphone and the camera. So if I do camera, microphone, audio and video, and then here if you select EOS webcam utility, but I'll have to turn it off on this one. So if I turn it off here, it will feed into Skype. So there you go, Skype. So it works. What? Okay, so it does work. Let's turn it off from Skype and let's go back to my OBS where I've added it as a video device. Thinking about it. So it does work, but it's still obviously buggy because they've already said it's a beta version. I don't know, should I put this video out? It lets them know that actually works on any Canon, because then they might take it away. We'll see. Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to be covering the Canon Webcam utility tool. So they've released a beta version of the Webcam utility tool, which you can use for your camera. So they basically put out a website and it looks like this. And it's saying, with so many of us relying on video calls to stay connected during these challenging times, the quality of that connection is key. Turn your compatible Canon camera into a high quality webcam now and free. So it gives you a few instructions here. There are a few videos online that actually cover a lot of this. However, I'm going to cover it from the point of view of using a camera that is not listed in the compatible cameras here. So you can only use the cameras that they say you can use, apparently. But I tested the T6 one. I downloaded it and it looks like this. When you download it, it's just a MSI file. Firstly, get a copy of that and save it somewhere, because I think when they come round to updating and the versions change, you might not be able to get hold of it. So because I know that it works on a camera that's not listed, I'm going to keep that somewhere safe. So that's your first point to note. And what you want to do with that is keep it in a location that you can access it. So maybe put in like a hard drive, USB drive or something. So, okay, what I'm going to be covering in this video is what happens if you're using a camera that's not listed on that. The freezing issue, if you're having it freeze after 20 seconds or 30 seconds of the camera being used, the USB speed, so the cable that you're using, the USB 2 or 3 that you're using, if the camera is not listed, lead and mode on camera, so yeah, how you set the camera to be able to go to that option, the duration of the run, how long it lasts for, the EOS tool, the normal standard one that we usually get with the camera, Skype calls, StreamYards, OBS screen, and dual screen. So sometimes you want to use it twice. And the battery, because obviously if you're streaming, you want to have it for a longer period of time. So this is more of a helping guide for you. So I'm hoping that it will give you the information if you're struggling to use your camera. So firstly, if your camera is not listed, download the most equivalent one to your camera. So mine was the Rebel series. I took the Rebel. It actually, I've got a 5D Mark II, and that also works on the Rebel tool. So, but in that scenario, I would have probably downloaded like the 6D Mark II version, which is close enough. So yeah, get that software and then save the software. If you're having issues with the camera, the issues will look like this. So first, if I show you a webcam section and what it does. So in Skype, you can select the camera type. If I bring that up now and show you that, so this is like a bit of a helping hand if you were. Okay, so if I bring you this, so when you do the 3 dots, you do settings, you can do the audio and video, so you get that. Now the reason I'm getting this at the moment is because I'm using that camera feed over in OBS. So this feed here, this feed, oops, is the OBS feed. So I'm using that camera already. So your first issue you're going to have is, in this version anyway, the beta, if you were to be Skype calling somebody and you were recording the screen at the same time for like an interview, you can't use the same camera on the Skype and in OBS. So technically what I normally do is have another webcam set up to Skype to, and then have this webcam, this camera to record me. So you won't be able to do that. That's your first limitation in this version anyway. What you want to do is, if you have Zoom or StreamYards, then it'll be fine because that uses the same camera feed, and it streams to your YouTube if you've got it connected. So that's your first thing. The second thing, if it's freezing, what I experienced was when I plugged the camera in, the T2i, it freezes. So what I mean by freezes is it gives me like 10 seconds of footage and it looks like fine like this, but then it'll freeze and lock. So when you get the shutter noise when it's coming down, you get that noise and then it doesn't work anymore. And if that's the case, what you want to do is restart your computer. So I had that happen to me twice. It used to actually happen in the old EOS desktop tool as well. So it's not just this new tool. So what you want to do is restart your computer, switch off your, well, I've got buttons for my USB devices, but I switch the USB devices off, restart my PC, and then that, when it reboots, it works fine. Then it doesn't freeze. So if you're getting the freezing issue, that's your fix for that. What else did I say? So USB speed, I plugged the camera directly into a hub, which was a USB 2 hub, and with that it was lagging. So you might experience where the volume isn't the same, or you're not tied up with that. If you're using a software, you can add the sync milliseconds on that, which I've got a separate video on. But if you want to test something, if you've got a USB 3, make sure you plug it into that, because that allows higher speed, so you won't get that freezing issue. If your camera is not listed on the Canon website, I've already covered that, get the closest version. The mode on camera, so there's a few things that I played about with. On my T2i, there's a manual mode and there's a video mode. So if I put it on video mode, it gives me a square aspect ratio, so it's like a square. But when I put it on manual mode, I got the widescreen. you can see that I'll probably link you to the 2 test videos I did running up to this test. But if you're getting that experience, then make sure you're putting it in the right mode, or test a few of the modes on your camera. So because it's beta, we're gonna have to play about to get the right version. So try that. That's another troubleshooting tip. The duration of the run, I made a video for about 10 or 11 minutes and it was fine, but I've seen a comment on the video somewhere saying that after 20 minutes it stopped. But I think that's down to the standard Canon thing. Is it 30 minutes? Can't remember. I'll check that. But yeah, it's one of those where your camera can keep a shutter open for a certain amount of time. When it gets too warm, it shuts down. I've got the battery extra option on there, which actually is like an extender. It's like an adapter, which looks like a normal battery for your camera, but it's got like a little lead and you can plug that to your power lead. Check that. You can get those for most cameras. It's about 20-ish quid or something. So if you're going to stream for longer periods of time, that's something handy to have. In Skype, I've shown you how to set it up in Skype. StreamYards, you can select it from the drop down list. So if you're installing it and it's not working for you, what you want to do is make sure that you're using the right type of software. So if I show you the Skype, what it will enable you to see it is show you it as, well, just lock that screen there. So where is it? Yes, so that's the camera option there. See, that is showing as a webcam utility beta. So that's what it's going to be known as in any of the softwares. So it's not appearing as like a camera. It won't work in the Windows camera option. So that's something to keep an eye on. So OBS screen dual capture won't work. So when I flip between screens, it actually lags. So it stops for a minute and then it does that. But then again, that's a beta stage. So that's a few things. If you're experiencing issues with old cameras, I'm hoping these help you. Just comment below what issue you're having and I'll make an updated version of this so we cover all the possibilities. But I'll link you to a few cards of playlists for this specifically so you can check out all the videos, but it'll be helpful for you. Hello and welcome. Some great news for Mac users. Last week I released a video to show you how to use your Canon DSLR camera as a webcam, and it was mainly for Windows users because the software is only released for Windows users. However, Canon have released a version for Mac users, so you guys are in for a bit of a treat if you haven't already found out. I'll link you in the description to the location where you can download the drivers, and I'll also link you to a video because Canon have done a great job this time. They've made an actual video to show you how to use your camera as a webcam, and they've unveiled it last 2 days ago, possibly 27th of May. So I'm a bit late. I brought it to you today. Today is the 28th of May, so I'm a day out. But last month they released the Canon version and they received a lot of flack because people were commenting, why did you give us a Windows version but we don't have a Mac version? Had many comments on my video which I did about the Windows version to say, wait a minute, where's the Mac users gonna get theirs from? So Canon have made a small video which I can possibly show you here. So Canon EOS utility beta software for Mac. So it gives you a quick guide of how to set up the camera. It shows you the options, the menu, and how you can do it. So I'm hoping this update will help you get to that software and be able to use your camera. Do comment and let me know if you have any problems with it, because I understand with the Windows version there was some difficulties, but we were able to use every Canon camera more or less, because I was able to use a T2i Canon camera which was not listed, and that is actually what I'm using right now. So yes, well done Canon. Thank you for sharing this news, and I think the Mac users will be really happy with that. I'll link you to a playlist here, and I'll actually link you to just that Canon video so you can check it out, and it will be very helpful for Mac users. See you on one of these videos. Hello and welcome to this episode of Zulf Talks Photography. Today I'm going to be talking to you about how to make your Fuji Film a webcam. So recent updates have come out. You may have heard Canon being the first, I think, but we don't all shoot Canon. So they basically released an app which lets you use your existing camera as a webcam. You don't get the full functionality, as in it's not the full 60 frames a second high definition, but it's enough because at the moment I'm using my Canon here as a webcam. So you can see the type of quality you can achieve from it, which is perfectly fine for most daily activities, Skype, Zoom, etc. But luckily Fujifilm have made a nice video to accompany their tool. So it's called the Fujifilm X Webcam Tool, and Billy Young explains it very nicely in his video. So I'll link you to that to show you how to use that. But if you haven't heard about the news, I thought I'll share it with you so you can actually make it to that video. And he explains the settings and how you can set up the camera to be able to use it as a webcam. You basically plug it in via USB, and that gives you the option to have a webcam which you may not have otherwise had, or it saves you money to buy another webcam, because the quality will be superior to a standard webcam that you would normally get. So I'm hoping you find that interesting and useful. I'll link you to this playlist here, which will give you more information about other cameras, because Panasonic have a similar app which allows you to use your mobile phone to transfer photos. Canon has an EOS webcam tool. So we'll keep a close eye on this updates, because everybody seems to be getting on this at the moment, which is good news for us. See you on one of these videos. Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to be speaking to you about how to video conference without a webcam. So if you're currently stuck at home and you're working from home and you're having to attend meetings and work's asking you to come into a Skype call or a Zoom call, or you want to get in touch with your family, I'm going to give you options to be able to do that without an actual webcam. So you may have heard that the webcam prices have gone up recently. And if I show you quickly here, a quick look at a Logitech camera, which is going for £188. That proves that concept. It is a good camera. However, do you want to pay £188 for a webcam is the question. If not, here are some alternatives. So luckily, I've been slowly testing a number of my cameras to be able to use as a webcam. Now, do you have a cheap web camera at home? Do you have any, well, I'm saying web camera, but I mean action camera. So if you have an old action camera lying around in your house, some of those GoPro knockoffs, I'll call them, they're not GoPros, but they're different makes, so Goodman's, Vibe from Argos, things like that. You can actually plug that into your computer and use that as a webcam, and it will be sufficient for video calls. You can get good quality if you want to speak to family, or if you want to go and attend a meeting. I've got a separate playlist of videos that shows you how to do this, so you can check that out. I'll link that in the cards. But what we will do is give you all the options. Have you got an old camera, a DSLR camera at home? So most people might have an old Canon camera. I've got a 12-year-old Canon camera, which is a T2i camera. It's a Canon camera. Canon have announced some free software which lets you make your old DSLR cameras webcams. So you basically plug them in, download this tool, which is free, and you can use it as a webcam. That's an option for you. I've got a separate video on that as well, so I'll link you to that playlist at the end, so check that out and you can see which one matches you the best. They announced certain cameras, but I've found cameras not listed on their website also work. That's a good thing. Mobile phones, we've all got mobile phones. You can actually download some apps and make your mobile phone a wireless webcam. So you can actually have your mobile phone there and have your PC, and you can be working on there and actually use your webcam via your mobile phone. We've all got mobile phones, so don't worry if you haven't got a webcam. That's another alternative option. If you don't have, or you want to buy a camera, why don't you look at options that will allow you, let me just bring this up, to use, so that's a Logitech, but why don't you buy a cheap DSLR camera, which would have been the same price as a Logitech, and use the EOS tool to make it a webcam. This is slightly different, so you can actually screen capture your EOS utility tool, which is what I used to do, but now I'm using the webcam tool, and you'll see another video about that, so it'll make sense. But there's a few options there for you if you don't want to go and buy a webcam. This doesn't mean you buy another camera. However, you can use that camera for other purposes as well. So you can take photos with it, you can make videos with it, you can do a number of additional things out and about. So I'm hoping these are a few additional options if you want a video conference but you don't have a webcam. There's a couple of options there, which are the main ones that I want to draw your attention to. If you have an old action camera, you can use that. If you have a mobile phone, you can enable that to become a webcam. And if you have an old DSLR, you can use the EOS tool if it's a Canon. And if you want to spend some money and you don't want to buy a Logitech, buy a DSLR camera. So here's a few options for you, and I'll link you to this playlist. I've been using an Action camera for quite a while as a webcam, and it's been doing fine. But there's not many videos about this Action camera webcam option, and we're just going to be testing an actual webcam. So right now, in this shot here, that is the Goodman's Action camera, and I won't take too long. I'll basically unbox this and test it to show you what the footage looks like, how it comes packaged. So box out the way. Oh, it's got a CD. I don't think you need a CD. Instruction manual, nobody cares. And then the camera itself. So this is a USB camera, an alternative to the Logitech options, because they are obviously really good. So people want a budget option, don't they? So that's what the camera looks like. Can I get you close on that? And it kind of goes on the monitor, clips behind the monitor. So it's got a microphone built in and it's full HD. Let me just get this little, there's a slide, you normally get that on screens. Just so we get a clear, we've got some photography going on so you can hear that. Full HD, okay. So if I plug this in, I should be able to show you live how it looks. Okay, so I've plugged that in. Setting up new device on the PC, it shows full HD 1080 camera. So if I go over to this screen here and add a web video capture device, add source, that should be on mute, and add source, full HD 1080p webcam. Oh, here we go. Default resolution and custom 1980 by 10. Okay, I need to adjust. Okay, that's how it looks so far. That's not bad. It's a bit bright. Okay, so I'm going to give you a side-by-side comparison. This is the Goodman's Action camera, which is currently the small one you're seeing. Alongside that, this is the new Advent Action camera. If I resize that one, it's that one there. So if I resize this, it is a different aspect ratio because it obviously is a bit zoomed in. That's those two cameras side by side. And to compare them to something even more, well, high end, is the DSLR camera, which is in the back. If I bring that down, this third one is a DSLR camera, and that's up there. So it gives you a rough idea of how good the Advent Action camera is versus a 1080p Action camera. Did I call it on a webcam? So Advent webcam is this one, Action camera, that one, and that's the DSLR. So that's giving you a 3-point view of how good that is. And if I go to wide, this is the new Advent Action camera. Turn that off. Then this one here is the Goodman's Action camera. First one was the webcam. This is the Action camera, and then the final one is this, which is the EOS, which is a DSLR camera. So if you're looking for different qualities, this is basically a comparison between a Goodman's Action camera as a webcam, an actual Advent webcam, and a DSLR camera. So again, there you go. See what you think about that. I've currently got two lights that I'm using to illuminate me here. And let me see if this kind of shows up. Okay, so there in the DSLR you can read the Advent sign. There you can read it in the Advent Action camera, and the Goodman's Action camera you read it down here, because it's the Action camera you can't really set like you can the Advent camera, so there's a slight difference in setting it. But the Goodman's was an Action camera. How many times have I said Action camera? Yeah, this is basically the view. Hello and welcome to Zulf Photography. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about using action cameras as a webcam for a live stream. And I've got a few examples to show you. If it's your first time here, consider subscribing so you get notification about videos just like this one. Here I have 3 action cameras. It's action cameras I've got over the years. Some are better than others. Some can be used as webcams, others struggle. So I'll talk to you about the main options. These are 3 cameras. I do have a 4th camera, which is this one here, which is also an action camera. So I've actually got possibility of having 4 different angles for live streams or live YouTube videos. So this camera here is a 1080p Vibe camera. When you plug a USB cable into it, like this one, just like the right way, like that, and then plug that into a USB. You can get USB extension cables to make it longer, and then if you use the cage that comes with it, so that cage there, basically put the camera into the cage the right way around. Let's quickly do that. Okay, so now imagine that just there. So that's your action. Move that away. That's your action camera. Adjust it so it's straight, and when you plug it into the computer, it will highlight on the back of this action camera 3 options: PC webcam, storage device, or charging. So you basically use the side menus and select what you want. In other action cameras like this one, cheap eBay one, I don't use this because they said it's 4K, but it wasn't. I did a whole separate video about it. I'll link you to that in the playlist. So this one, it won't come up with webcam until the memory card is removed. So for example, if I show you the memory card, okay, so the memory cards in there, it won't come up as webcam. You have to take the memory card out and then plug it into USB, and that will become a webcam. Shocking quality, but it will be a webcam. And what you can even do, a trick I found is, normally I plug it into the webcam, and while it's plugged in, the battery charges these batteries. But if you leave it constantly plugged in with the battery, your battery is going to get knackered. It's like laptops. If you constantly leave it plugged in with the battery, you get about a year's use out of it. But if you're always going to have it plugged in, take the battery out and just use the camera as an action camera, it'll still work and you won't get your battery knackered because it's always constantly charging. So that's a good tip. And different action cameras are different. So for example, my Goodman's action camera, which is recording right now, this one, when I plug it in, it automatically goes to webcam if there's no memory card in there. So that's why I use that a lot more, because I don't have to go to the camera and select the option to say PC webcam, whereas on the other 2 cameras I'd have to actively go to the camera and do that. Sometimes I have like a one there or there, so I don't want to go and individually turn them to webcam. So the Goodman's is good for that. It's the first camera I've got and I've been surprised with it. So yes, you can use cheap action cameras as streaming cameras. You can use it via Streamlabs, OBS, Skype, Twitch. All that happens is when you come to the option for webcam selection, if that's plugged in, you select the it normally says USB camera or UC unrecognized camera, and you select it from the list, and then by default it becomes your camera. So hopefully that helps you. I've got a few more links to various videos about action cameras which you might find helpful.
Let's see how to set up a mobile phone as a wireless web camera for live streaming on YouTube, Twitch, Skype, whatever have you. I'm taking it to my screen now, we'll do that. So you're going to start with IP camera adapter. I'll put a link in the description. We start on our PC, so I'm downloading this straight onto my PC so I can get this ready before I go into the mobile phone store and app store and get the app. So I've been trying to do this for a while. There's loads of tutorials online. Some are outdated, some talk about NDI drivers and all sorts. That didn't work for me. I even tried doing a screen capture of my DSLR EOS utility tool, and that was a bit of a pain because it lagged. So this is what worked for me. I'm hoping you'll find it helpful. So IP camera, when you've downloaded it and installed it on your desktop, you're basically going to go onto your Windows menu and search IP camera and open up this little dialog box. It's got a few things in there like a address, username, password. Then you move over to your mobile phone and app store and you actually download the app, IP webcam. That's what it looks like. I've already installed it. A straightforward install. Open it and then you'll get a screen with like loads of settings on. Go through and have a look at some of the settings. It's straightforward, but main things to worry about is the video resolution that you want to stream at or make the mobile phone video available at. I put it at 720 because anything higher than that would lag via YouTube streaming. Video quality I put on halfway, and orientation auto, so if you portrait or manually it'll do that, and the frame rates I put at max 30. So that's just those settings there. And once you've gone through that, right at the bottom it says start server, but we won't do that right now. What we'll do is we'll go and set a shortcut up on my mobile phone desktop. Just make sure that's all okay. Yes. So now back to the desktop. I've created the shortcut there. When you go right to the bottom, there's a little start server button. So that there will give you what your phone will show via the IP address, and right at the bottom it's got an IP address there. So that's the address you need. But what a lot of people don't tell you is when you put that IP address into the camera feed URL, you have to put slash camera feed, or what was that? I'll put that in the description. I'll copy and paste it so you can use it. So once you click OK there, it will say successfully connected, and then you can go into your browser and actually put that same link in video feed, so slash video feed. So you'll see now I can see that via my internet browser, which is a good thing because if you're using OBS, we can actually add it as a browser source, because some of the guys on YouTube are saying add it as a video capture and screen capture, sorry, but that's a bit of a pain because you can't really move that screen around. If you do move it around, then that's going to cause you issues, because if you have a screen over it. But here, back on Windows, basically open up the menu, camera IP. I didn't have OBS Streamlabs installed, so I couldn't record my recording screen. So obviously the mobile phone is a bit amateurist, sorry, but it'll give you an idea of what's going on. So basically add it as a source, as a browser, call it wherever. I'll call it test IP or something. And when you click OK, it'll give you this screen where you can put an internet URL. So that's where you want to put your IP address. You can change the resolution here to 1280 by 720, and then just make sure that it's shut off when it's not on that screen, so you can use that camera on multiple scenes. So click OK. So here that basically gives you that now. So I'll show you what that looks like. And actually it's a wireless webcam, because you can see there I'm kind of like linked on a Wi-Fi network, so I can actually walk around and give you a tour and stuff as well. So that's quite good. So yes, I think this will come in handy, because what I'm planning to do is, you'll see that's my starting screen. That's my main screen. So I'm looking just over here. I've got a chat screen. This is going to be for live stream, and news segment, a hold screen, which plays a bit of music.
Hello and welcome. In this episode, we're going to be talking about how to use multiple cameras to get different views on your recordings. So if you're making videos and you've got a workflow set up, that's great, but you want to make it as easy as possible for yourself. When you're making videos and want to talk about your subject, I talk about photography, you could have any subject that you want to talk about, you will need cameras set up. However, it can be a nightmare recording separately and then getting all the memory cards and then putting it into your computer and then resyncing up the audio to the video, and you know how it goes. what the basic outcome of this video is going to be, I'm going to show you how, well, the video I've already created. It's called OBS Camera Setup, 3 action cameras for YouTube live streaming. So you could either live stream or you could record a video onto your hard drive using OBS record feature. So let's give you a quick skip into this so you can see what it looks like when it's done. So here you can see there's 2 cameras, there's 3 cameras. In that scenario, I was actually using an action camera, well, 2 action cameras, and a mobile phone set up on the Wi-Fi feature, so it's a wireless camera. That's one way of doing it. However, a better way is if you have a webcam, which are fairly cheap. You can pick up a 1080p webcam for between £20, £25. If you already have an action camera, that's your number 2 camera. So the way you want to position them is put them in a way that your main camera that you always speak to is the good one. So for example, right now, that is a DSLR camera that I'm using. If I get rid of this, so that DSLR gives you the nice view, and then I can switch to my secondary view when I'm talking to the screen. So if it's not as much going to be that video, so for example, you'll see me talking full on, doing my intro and stuff, and then I go into a topic, I'll do a little view on that camera, then a little view on that camera. Those are all plugged into OBS. They're added as sources of video capture devices, and that will show up as a webcam. Each camera will have its own name. You plug them in via USB. It records all the feed onto your hard drive. Your microphone is also plugged into OBS as an audio device. So that makes it very easy to record multiple cameras at once. And I do a lot of my videos in one take. Once I click record, it's basically me talking, and then I stop the video and it's ready to upload. I can add little segments in there where it shows my screen. It may not be the best quality, but for YouTube, 720 1080p, it's perfectly fine. And if you're talking about subjects that people are looking to learn about, of how to do things, most of the time, providing your audio is good and you can get your point across, it works. So 3 cameras. Use the cameras you already have. You don't have to buy new cameras. I've done a separate video here which you can check out for alternative options for cameras. So if you have a mobile phone, old mobile phone, you have a Canon DSLR camera, there's some new advanced options that let you make it a webcam. You can check all that out here and help you get through this journey. But yes, it's quite easy to set up multiple cameras and make your workflow very streamlined so you can make more videos about the topics that you like. I'll see you on one of these videos.
Hello and welcome to Zulf Photography. Today, part 2 of my triple camera angle test. So you may have seen my live stream already about the 4K camera I've got, which is this terrible thing right here. So you'll be able to see on my first action camera view, which is over there, that's the camera mounted just on top of my microphone. So that's the second camera shot. I've got a Bluetooth keyboard that I'm using here with shortcut keys F1, F2 and F3. F1 being you, F2 being you, and F3 being my mobile phone down here. So you can see the IP webcam app that I've downloaded. I've put a separate tutorial up about that. It's actually quite good because the mobile phone quality is superior in terms of the action cameras, and it's actually wireless. So right now here I can give you like a little mini, oh look at that exception. But there's my first camera, light, window, so it's that. And that is my other action camera, which is the front view, and I can use the mirror there just to make sure I'm in shot. So that is your 3 camera angles. And if I go back to the 4K camera, which is an abomination, oh yeah, check out my video about that. I'll link it in the cards how I've set that up. But this will allow me to kind of do a bit more live streaming without having to edit anything. So then that way actually make the video straight away and make it go up and upload it. So it will work out a lot better. So I'm thinking about these angles and making sure there's no lag and that it sounds all okay. Apart from these screens, I'll have some additional screens which will be like the standard stuff. So there's a hold screen, loading screen even. the main ticker screen, which should be the front view, a left pane with like a bit of a news update, and these are all on additional keys. So I've got 2, 3, 4. That's my live screen there, and then a dual cam screen I'll have as well, which at the moment looks like that. So that's my mobile phone down there and that camera there. I can add a third screen on here. Should I do that right now? One second, let me show you how I do that. So if you concentrate on just there, I basically go add this one will be image capture device. So image capture, come on, video capture device. That box pops up there. I already have existing connection, is that one there. Click OK. So that drops in there. Make it a bit smaller. So now you have 3 excellent views, just like that. So one is the front view over there, 2 is the microphone view, which I can do that one, and then down here your number 3 mobile phone. And this mobile phone, I actually have a rig set up here, so I can do top down shots on the desk, which you would have seen on the 4K unboxing video. Got an apple there. So we are slowly getting there. Once this is all set up, then we're gonna see how it goes. So I'll start doing live stream episodes.
Hello and welcome to Zulf Photography. In this quick video, I'm going to show you how to use a Canon DSLR as a webcam for live streaming or even recording stuff. So right now the image you're seeing is from my Canon 550D, also known as the T2i in America. So I've connected the camera via USB to my PC. I've got an additional battery adapter which allows it to be used off the mains. I'll link it to a video in the cards of how that looks and how you set that up. Is basically a camera adapter. You plug it into the camera port and it leads out to a plug. And then what you do is, if you're using OBS Studio, basically create a session, and then if I take you to my desktop, you can see what it's doing. So here, you'll see there is actual live view of the camera. So if I open up the actual screen you would normally see first, let me just bring the mouse back because I've got 3 screens here at the moment. One just under the camera and the 2 main screens. Okay, there we go. So now you can see this is the pop-up that comes up when you select the EOS tool, and you can set your aperture, shutter speed and the ISO. Once you set that, you click on this live view shoot button here, which pops up this window. Then in OBS you capture that window as image source, and then you can use it as a camera, a streaming camera. It's quite nice. You can see the blur. It's great because it's a 1.4 50mm lens. I'll show you another camera that I'm using, which is the Action Camera. That's this one here. So you can see the difference in quality and how nice and smooth the images on the Canon DSLR versus the Action Camera. So there you can see that's how I do that. So I'm hoping that helps you out. Basically, you can see now this, because I've got my desktop here, that is smaller, and because it's captured the image, it's actually there. So if I go back over to that screen, and make it full screen, you'll see straight away there you can't tell I'm capturing that screen. The only caveat is that EOS tool has to stay on the screen. Minimize it, it freezes. If I show you. So now minimize that, so you can see I'm still looking backwards, but I'm actually not looking backwards. I'm looking back at the camera. So if I go back to it, there you'll see. Well, that's what happens. So all you do is, if you're on Windows 10, you can click the multi desktop view and just stick in one of the desktops, and then it stays there. Let me show you that 1 second. I actually can't show you that because it's recording and it's minimizing that screen, so that doesn't work. But that's how I'm using that camera. Basically, Canon EOS Tool, live view mode on your PC, and image capture that window in OBS. That will work for you for any of the Canon cameras. I'll link you in the end cards to that video that I talked about for the adapter. And on the left is what YouTube thinks you should be watching. On the right is that Canon adapter video, which you can get for most Canon cameras. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe so these videos come directly to you. How to use your webcam in different programs. So I'm going to give you 3 programs which are commonly used for webcams, and I'm going to show you how you can use your webcam in them. So I've probably sent you here from one of my other videos, or you've asked a question and I've linked you to this video, but I've had a lot of questions about this, so I'm hoping this quick session will help you. So if I quickly show you how it can look. So what normally happens is I use an action camera as a webcam. I even use webcam as a webcam. So here in front of my desk here, you can see there's a webcam which is on top of an action camera, and I use it in OBS. So I'm going to show you 3 programs which are OBS, Skype, and Streamlabs. So you'll be able to see how you can use your webcam to either stream or to record the feed. So if I bring you over to my system here, this one here is a webcam. And if I turn that off, and I'll show you my OBS screen right now, here in the middle it says display capture. What that means is this capturing the display which I'm showing you. Microphone on the right, and there's a little button here which says plus. So if you click on the plus, you can actually put a video capture device. This is OBS StreamYards, Streamlabs OBS. So I add a new source. I call it my webcam, and then I do add source. It'll come up with this screen which lets me pick which webcam I want to use. So if you're using your Canon EOS camera as a webcam, you can select in the device drop down and that will become a webcam. That was OBS. In OBS you can actually record a session onto your hard drive as well. That's another way of doing it, whereby it doesn't stream it, it records it, so you can use that file and edit it. The next one I'll show you is StreamYards, which is the online browser version. So when you set up an account, you normally think my account settings and there should be a webcam there, but it's not there. You have to go into broadcasts. When you've got a session set up and you enter the session, it'll pop up with the screen asking you which webcam do you want to use. So if I do settings here, you'll see there I've got my EOS Canon and my normal webcam, so you can pick which one you want to use. That's how to do it in StreamYards. And then if I show you Skype quickly, so Skype is the 3 little buttons. You do settings, and then you go into audio and video, and then in that select drop down there, you basically select the camera you want. So if you have your Canon EOS driver installed, you can use that. If you haven't, then you can use a standard webcam. If you don't have a standard webcam, you can even use an action camera, or you can use your mobile phone. I've made a whole playlist. I'll link you to this playlist here. Have a look at that. It'll answer all your questions. You've probably come from one of those videos here, but you'll find it interesting what you can use as a webcam. I'm hoping you found this useful, had loads of questions about it. It's quicker to do a video, and I'll link you to this if you ever ask me about this again. See you in one of these videos. Okay, this section is to show you how to set up a webcam in Zoom. And I've already signed up and I'm going through the setup process. Okay, so it looks like we have to download and run .exe files. If I put that in just a temporary location, save, see what that does. Okay, so open, installing Zoom. Oh god, I have to install the package. Okay, interesting. I was hoping to do it from browser, but if you cannot download and run the application, join from browser. Okay, yes, install it. Be handy to have anyway, because someone's going to bound to say to me, have you got Zoom? I use Skype mostly. Okay, come on. Oh, okay, here we go. So I installed it and straight away it's come up with my webcam. but I don't like how it's set up. Join with computer audio, test join with computer audio. You're using your computer audio and you are using enhanced meeting information. Stop video. There's not many options on there, is there? Oh, okay, here we go. Share screen is basically Skype, isn't it? Stop video, start video, participants 1. Where is my settings? Mute, check 1. Okay, yes, my mic's moving. And select a speaker, test speaker, audio settings, microphone. Where is the webcam mics? Reactions, share screen. Yeah, why would you not use, I don't get it, why would you not use Skype? What? The quality is terrible. Can I not make this widescreen? It's like a square format. Let me go to Zoom. Oh, is that it? Is that the app? Okay, that's a bit of a... Well, there you go. It worked straight away with the normal webcam. So it'd be interesting to see if I can skip between the webcams. If I end this, end meeting at all. Yeah, okay. Join meeting and sign in is the 2 options. Let's try signing in and see what I get. So if I do and log in, this should give me more options about webcam choices and etc, etc. Okay, here we go. So that's the menu I'm interested in. New meeting, join, schedule, share screen, settings. Here we go, peeps. That's what I was looking for. So video, and there's your drop down. So moral of the story is enable HD. There we go, mates. Touch up my appearance. What does that mean? It makes me look beautiful or something. That's impossible. Okay, meetings always display participant names on their videos. Turn off my video. Yeah, basically there's loads of settings there. Original ratio or 16.9, and here is your EOS webcam utility. It's turned off at the moment, but if it was on, I'll be able to switch between it. You have advanced options for rendering and capturing because you can record the screen as well. So yes, basically install from their website the Zoom app, similar to how you would do it for Skype, and then you can select your settings and then pick from audio and video devices the camera you want, and you can make it HD. So yes, if I do a new meeting, connecting, join with audio, that's better quality. It's HD now as opposed to before it was like a bit blurry. So yeah, we are good. That works on Zoom. That's how. Okay, so here's how to get your Discord set up with the webcam. If you're on Discord, you want to go on to your bottom here. You've got a little cog there, user settings. Click on that. Then you want to go to voice and video. You select that. You'll have a few options here. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll see here a camera section. I have 2 webcams at the moment. One is my DSLR camera there, and one is the HD webcam there. You select on that, and then you click test video, and you'll see here that is showing. What will happen is if you have your OBS screen set up and your action camera being used in OBS, then it might not show in Discord. So what you need to do is disable it in OBS or any other program you're using, because that is the main problem people are facing if you're trying to use it in more than one location. But that's a quick setup guide of how to use any webcam in Discord.